Coach, in that eighth inning when you have bases loaded, no outs, you got Pine, Matheson, and Brock up.
Yeah.
You don't have any more runs. Just, I guess, how much of a learning lesson can it be for those guys just as young hitters and trying to?
Yeah, if you look at our group over the course of the year, and you're in that moment, there's really not any other three guys you wouldn't want up. I mean, essentially, Glasser's been terrific, but he's been out for months or so. So, if when you look up, and I think, hey, great, that's why I didn't bunt. I didn't bunt in that situation. Just knowing you had those three guys coming up, and worst case, if Hunter gets out, he ends up walking. But worst case, you have first and second, and those three guys coming up. You still feel like having all three outs is a better scenario for you to score another run, and we just didn't do it. The guy threw a good changeup and mixed it up and did a good job. Doesn't happen very often, but it happened right there, and you're right. It's a big-time learning situation in the moment when you have a chance to put somebody away and not able to do it. So just have to learn and grow and improve from there. But those guys have been terrific all season and have come up in those moments so many times and done it.
I guess, how much does today and really that game in general sort of capture what you guys have had this year? Obviously, you go down 6-1, you rally back to get, it says a lot about your lineup, but also about your bullpen in terms of being able to preserve that.
It was, obviously the weather yesterday put us in a tough spot today, and we just wanted to get with Brimmer, if you get 3 innings or 50 pitches, whichever one came first. But you knew that was going to put a little bit of that was going to make things more difficult to finish the second game today. But the pitching, it's make 2 errors. We have a ball that we could have caught in right. We have a first and third play on a delay steal that we shouldn't have thrown to second base. So there's 3 or 4 runs there that aren't essentially necessarily on the pitching staff either. Now, we walk a guy to lead off the ninth and hang a 1-2 breaking ball. Now that's a little bit different, right? But when we have moments there you just can't hemorrhage runs defensively either. And we played good defense throughout the course of the year, but we had moments when it's going to be a bullpen day that you have to make plays and take care of the ball better than we did. In some of those plays, you have to make plays in those moments. You have to be heady and intelligent and smart. And we made a few mistakes there, on the ball that we potentially could have caught in right. We're yelling 3. We should have been yelling 4. That ball could have gone home. The guy was out at home plate, and that's a misread there. So, there's a couple of those things that also. So, it would be nice if you could, what Ty did in the first game, where you have a sensational bullpen outing where a guy comes in and runs the table and does that. But it wasn't the case today. But so, in the second game, we have to do better. We have to be better defensively and being able to support those guys in those moments.
Ty Boswell, he threw kind of a no-hitter. It's never going to count as one because he threw 7 innings, but you kind of mobbed him like he was on the mound, and then you got the 2 inning from Bremer, so you kind of got the world's most unusual no-hitter that'll never count. I don't know, the Reds got a no-hitter and lost today, so it was a weird day for no-hit, in terms of no-hitters, it didn't count. So can you talk about Boswell's performance and whether you would consider that your team threw a no-hitter?
Well, I'm glad we didn't throw a no-hitter and lose, that's for sure, but I was just so happy for Ty. I think the guys were so happy for Ty. I mean, that was why you see such positive emotion and so supportive of him, from where he was at the beginning of the year to have that terrific performance. You guys were just so excited and so genuinely happy for him as their teammate, and just love and supported him for what a terrific outing. And then what it did for us is it gave us a chance in the second game, knowing that we were going to give Brimmer the opportunity, if he wanted to, kind of how it would go to start the second game. It gave you a chance there to preserve some of that bullpen and give you a shot late. And again, like I always tell the guys, just want to be within 2 runs in the 7th, one way or the other. You're up 2 or down 2 in the 7th inning, and then try to find a way to go win it late. And Bothwell's performance gave us a chance to do that.
Just what made him so impressive today? And I guess what's been the biggest changeover for him as he's
a ton of it's just confidence, just his confidence and his belief, his ability to really attack with his fastball. The breaking ball has always been good, but the confidence to throw it with conviction and to land it and then to put it away. So, for him, he'll be, he's anywhere from 86 to 96, right? And when he's good, he's 90, 93, and really attacking with his fastball. It just has some really unique properties to it. It garners a ton of swings and misses. So when he's confident and he's downhill and attacking with it, it's a really difficult pitch to handle for anybody. And they stacked the lefties to face Bremer yesterday, and so that was going to be their lineup to begin today. So we knew that he would be a really good matchup to come out of the bullpen to begin that game. So he was in a good position to start with the matchups. And then secondly, his confidence, conviction, throwing strikes, attacking with the fastball in that, in that middle to premium velocity range. That's going to have really good properties, and then throwing a really hard, good breaking ball for a strike and a put away. When he does that, he's just really difficult to manage, and he did an awesome job.
Jeff, what makes Waylon an effective leadoff hitter?
Well, I would say he sees a lot of pitches, but there are times where he doesn't. The thing for him is he has a terrific identity, and he's really flat. So he's flat, and he has a great identity. And so when you have that, like he can get beat and shoot a ball the other way. He can turn around your fastball with a pull side gap. He's got really good vision. He sees the ball really well, recognizes the ball really well. And so he doesn't swing and miss a ton, doesn't expand the zone, doesn't chase. And so you kind of put that all together with a ton of toughness and a great mentality. And you've got a guy that could hit first, second, third. We just felt confident him kind of leading the charge here the last month or 6 weeks, and done a great job. But he gets out of the box well, gets down the line well. You know he's going to put the ball in play, he's going to compete. And then he's really good if, the bottom lineup, now that, Glasser is back and Tyler, Dones has been terrific. And so the nice thing about having Waylon is he's a good guy with guys in scoring position. And so as the lineup turns over, you like to have a guy that you feel like can hit with guys in scoring position when the lineup turns over, as the bottom of the lineup has produced for us. So he does all those things really well. Like I said, he hit third for a long time, and now with the leadoff, he's kind of a hybrid, can do the one, but it has been great in both.
His fearlessness as a fielder,
yeah,
which I know sometimes he hits the wall, but I guess just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, he is, and he's always been a fine defender, but he's made himself much better. He's gotten a lot better over the course of the last year, and he gets good jumps, he gets good reads. The thing that you watch with good outfielders, and I've coached outfield, Coach Weatherford coaches them this year, but the guys that are good are the guys that take the BP, their live reads the best. So if the guys that take their live reads the best in the outfield, they're the best at translating into the game. And you just watch a guy's growth over his career. It always translates. The guys that don't get better in the outfield don't take their BP reads serious all the time. And Bobby and Grant Richardson did this, where it's like they're just every rep in the outfield. They're telling the pitchers, get out of dodge, get away, and they're taking every rep. They're robbing homers in BP. I have to tell Bobby to stop diving, stop diving. We don't need you to dive in BP and get hurt. He wants to take every rep, and because of that, he's made himself a really fine defender. He is fearless. He'll slam into the wall, and he's an awesome player.
How do you feel just about the position you guys have put yourself in? Obviously, you've won a bunch of series in a row now. Just to put yourself in a spot where, if the season ends today, you're at least in the tournament.
Yeah, I am. I'm really proud. I'm really proud of those guys. I have a couple guys that you kind of pencil in as starters, and things don't go as well as you would like early, and a couple tic-tac injuries to those guys, and to have the kind of the early season kind of tumultuous begin to it. You kind of get it off the ground and go a little bit, and then you struggle, and so to watch the growth of the young pitchers, and then as you go from, you kind of either win by a blowout or lose by a blowout, and then you start losing some of those close games, and you start winning a bunch of those close games. And so you always talk to the kids. Your goal as a coach is to have your team get better over the course of the year, be playing its best baseball at the end of the season, the last month. Just be doing that. If you do that as a coach, you feel like you've accomplished your goal, is to play your best baseball late to help the team grow. And so the toughness and the competitiveness from the kids has been terrific. Their resiliency has been terrific. I've been very, very proud of them. You want those guys to keep going. We've really we've pushed them, and they've really been forced to kind of bear it all out. Where sometimes you're really good, you win by a bunch, you can kind of coast through, and you kind of smooth sailing into the end of the year. Those guys have really had to battle to be in this position. They've had to have multiple comebacks. They've had to have massive bullpen performances, and to have that, the ability for those guys to keep showing up and doing that every day has been really a pleasure to watch, and makes me very, very proud of them. But yeah, where we were 6 or 8 weeks ago compared to where we are right now, I'm very proud of those guys and what they've done.
Kind of similar to what Dustin asked, but a little different, is how do you carry the momentum? You're playing much better now, and how do you carry that momentum, assuming you make it into the Big Ten tournament? You're in a good position now. How do you carry that momentum into the Big Ten tournament and even into next year, from the beginning, to make sure you keep the program moving forward after the slow starts, and now you're in much better position,
That's the $1 million question. I would say that the big thing for us is stabilizing the culture and the environment, and setting the expectations every day, right? Where you have a shutdown year with a bunch of young guys, then you have, obviously last year was regulated, where a lot of those young guys don't get to play. You have a massive draft class, And so when you have a young team and a new team, essentially a new team, you're trying to set the standards and the expectations and the culture and the DNA of the program to make sure that it is in a good place. You obviously for the end of this season and into the future, and we've done that, and they've done that, and they've given themselves an opportunity to go into next weekend with a fighting chance, and then potentially if you do well, then move forward from there. But if you don't, the standard is the standard, right? And if you don't have a standard, then anything's acceptable. And if anything's acceptable, then you have no idea where you're going, right? You have to have a goal in mind and a plan. And those kids done a great job of setting the DNA and the culture in the program in the right direction, and then going out and trying to get better every day. So you just keep working. You just keep putting your foundation in and coaching those guys until they get better and get where you want to get to.
We'll take two more.
How you were forced to use Bramer today, how is that going to impact with a short week coming up?
That's the $1 million question. You know, that was obviously you start him yesterday to keep him any chance to keep him on target next week, a short week, and the following week, a short week. But then you wake up today and, you know, it was kind of like, hey, it's your decision. Obviously, I don't want to force you to do something you don't want to do. What do you think about it? And that's why I wanted to use him in the second game, kind of give him a chance to get around and move and feel like he's okay. And he's like, I really want to do this. So you're banking on, like, we've kind of talked about it, but I don't even know where we stand. All I know is, like, we have to win today to even worry about tomorrow. And we felt like if Bremer could get, 50 pitches or 3 innings, whichever one came first, and I should have taken him out before he faced it was a Stanky again for the 3rd time. That was my mistake. Then he gives you the best chance to get it off the ground. We wanted to get to the 6th inning. We wanted to get to the 6th inning with hopefully a lead with Sharp, and then be able to figure out, like, if Sharp could give you 3, and then you figure out the 9th essentially. And we got close to doing that, and then we got to figure out next week. So to be honest with you, I don't know. That's a terrible answer, but I don't know yet. I have to kind of go back and look and see where things are at. Kind of look at how we finish up, and then if you have to win one, if you have to win a series, if you have to sweep, I don't know. And then you make a decision. The one thing I do know is that we can't put him in an at-risk position, in a precarious position. So whether it's as a starter, as a reliever, I don't know. Obviously, Bothwell throwing really well today makes things interesting, right? It gives you another potential starting option, and it's a great question. I'll have to cross our bridge when I get there.
For Tuesday, how do you approach the pitching staff for that day, knowing it doesn't factor into the Big Ten, and then you have a quick turnaround on Thursday?
Yeah. I don't know yet. I mean, literally, I was just so immersed into this weekend trying to win the series first and then sweep the series today, that I haven't even thought beyond that, to be completely frank with you. We'll be shorthanded, but you just can't do anything that's gonna jeopardize what you have to be able to do next week, and then if you're fortunate enough to play the next week, then after that. So we won't do anything to jeopardize that. There are going to be some guys that haven't thrown a ton that are going to have to throw and going to have to give us some length, and we'll hope those guys come out and give us good innings.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.